Hello and welcome to Somewhere on the Spectrum. Today we're going to talk about phone calls. Hands up if you hate phone calls. Many of us with executive function challenges, wherever we are on the neurodiversity spectrum, struggle with phone calls. But why? Why are they so difficult for us? Perhaps you've never really noticed it. It is possible that you could go for your life and not realize that you hate phone calls. I didn't really realize that I hated phone calls until pretty recently. And I think this is the great thing about social media and seeing so many stories online. People say things and you go, oh, me too. And I didn't even realize. And that was the thing for me with phone calls. I didn't really know that I had an issue with phone calls until someone said about phone calls. And I was like, I really have an issue with phone calls. So today we're going to look at why this might be and what we can do about it. Do you have anxiety whenever the phone rings? Do you stare at it, willing it to stop? What about when you have to make a phone call? Doctor's appointment, cancel a meeting. How do you feel? Phone calls fit into executive function. They are an apparently small, easy, daily task that doesn't take much time or energy. Don't be surprised if that description doesn't exactly align with your experience of phone calls. For us, they are very often stressful, exhausting. They may take 5 minutes to complete, but they could take 5 months to start. So what's going on? First, there is the unpredictability of the call. What's going to happen? Who's going to pick up? What's their mood going to be? Can they help us? Will they want to help us? Who knows? Uncharted territory. We don't know. Then there's our communication skills. Will we understand them? Will we have the right information? Will we have to say no to somebody? Certainly many of us have anxiety around conflict and a need to people please. The preemptive worry about these is very real. Then there's the sensory challenge. Maybe you have one sense that takes priority. In my case, if my eyes get distracted, my ears turn off. Maybe you need a fiddle toy to help keep you focused, a pen and paper to write down important information, because with the stress of the call, you might forget everything that was said. For us, preparing to make a call, just that is exhausting. Even if we know it's a 5-minute job, like think about making an appointment at the doctor. Even if we know that's going to be a fast thing to do, it's not going to take very long. It might take us weeks or months to build up the courage, get ready, and actually make the phone call. You carry so much anxiety that isn't even really logical anxiety that we can get stuck for months in the I should make that call phase. If the call is incoming, demand avoidance can be a challenge. A ringing phone is a demand. It is interrupting our day, no matter where we are or what we're doing or how we're feeling, and demanding our attention. Similarly, the need to make a call, it's going to happen, that also is a demand. By pretending we're fine with that and pushing through, we can cause a situation where having the phone ringing can cause increasing fury and frustration. So, what can we do? First off, acknowledge all of this. Yes, I have a problem with phone calls. And then identify specifically what it is that we're facing. From that, we can figure out what can be mitigated or avoided by finding relevant strategies. For example, for me, I know that I struggle to focus. When it's a video call, it's easier. But when it's just a phone call, I struggle to focus. So I need to have something in my hands. Coloring is the big one. If I know that I'm going to be on the phone for a while, I'll get my coloring books out. That gives my eyes enough distraction that I can stay focused with my ears, but it's not too much that my ears turn off. Not long after I'd started the process of going into diagnosis, so I didn't have a diagnosis yet, but I just started to do the research about it. And I had read a bit online about people struggling with phone calls. Not long after that, I had this situation where I had to make a long series of phone calls. Stuff was happening, and I needed to interview each person in the situation to get a better understanding of what was going on. And I had about 10 phone calls that I had to make. I thought this was a very small, easy task. I didn't think I had a problem with phone calls. I hadn't registered that that was an issue. And I got to the most important phone call, which of course I've been procrastinating about because I didn't want to have the confrontation. I didn't want to deal with it. And I decided to go out into the garden. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. It wasn't a very big garden. My garden at the time was very, very small. And I went out to the garden and I decided to do some deadheading. 10 minutes later, I realized I had not heard anything for the last 10 minutes. I mean, sure, I'd been responding. I'd been autopilot, I still to this day don't have a clue what she said. And she was like the most important call I had to make. I don't know what she said. That is when I knew I had a problem. Acknowledge that you may have an issue and then start thinking about what that issue is. So for me in that situation, I realized that I may have had the phone to my ear and somebody may have been talking to me, but because my eyes were focused on something else, my ears turned off. The same thing happens in a pub. If there is a TV, I will watch that TV. My eyes are mesmerized by the TV. I'm not hearing anything that's going on around me. It can be really, really loud and I can be overwhelmed by the noise. That almost makes it even harder to hear the conversation because my eyes would rather be watching the TV, even if it's sport that I don't want to watch, than trying to pick out the conversation of the person next to me. So what is the problem? What kind of solutions can we find to help manage that situation or strategies? Acknowledge and embrace making scripts for your potential conversation. This is something that many of us do anyway. There's nothing wrong with it. Accept that that's what you do and do it more strategically. Actually write the stuff down. Make a flowchart. Be logical about it. What are the options? Which way could it go? Actually think through the conversation and get it written down because that can really reduce your anxiety and help you decide how you want to manage situations. Before time, you can think about, but what if they say this? But what if they say this? And you can think about, okay, I would rather answer this. I would rather respond in that way and write that down in your flowchart. And then actually that means that on the day, you're a bit clear about how you want to have this conversation, which makes it easier for you to react, which makes it easier for it to be a better conversation. And have your flowchart in front of you for sure. Have a notepad for phone calls. My mum does this. Write the date and note any information that you want to remember. So it doesn't have to be important information. My mum does this with all of her phone calls with her friends, basically takes notes on the phone call so that later she can recall things and she can go back and say, oh yeah, it was on this day and that happened. Let go of the idea of doing phone calls and conversations right. It's an evolving situation. Nobody can do it perfectly. And help yourself. Literally, do something to help yourself. Have your fiddle toys, coloring books, notepads. Maybe ask to record the call if you know it's going to be a difficult or long call that you need to remember stuff. Take a lot of deep breaths. You might feel yourself getting tense. You might actually stop breathing and start holding your breath if you start to get stressed out. So try and remind yourself to breathe and even write it down in big letters on your notepad. Breathe. Remember that you can take breaks. This one was a bit of a revelation to me when I was filling out a form for universal credit with Citizens Advice. They told me this is going to be a little bit challenging. It's going to be kind of annoying. It's going to take us a couple of hours. Are you okay if we take a 20-minute break in the middle? And I was like, what? You can take breaks on phone calls? What? Nobody told me that before. I thought you just had to sit there until it was over. Yeah, no, you can take breaks. They don't know that you've run out of steam. As far as they know, you just need to run to the loo. And probably is a good idea to go anyway. So maybe you need a glass of water, whatever. They don't need to know. So yeah, tell them you'll call them back in 20 minutes. Tell them, oh, I'm back in a minute. Tell them somebody's just come to the door. Doesn't have to be the truth. We're allowed to lie too. Even if you want to tell the truth, tell the truth. I need to think about this a little bit more. Can I call you back? Oh, I think I need to process this a little bit better. Can I call you back? I'm not sure how I feel about this. Can I call you back? You can tell the truth too. Or you can just say, I'm really sorry, I need to go to the loo. I'll call you right back and put the phone down. And then go to the loo and then take a breath and breathe and wander around outside and have a change of scene and think about what you've been talking about and take some notes on things that you want to talk about. And if there's a particular direction or question you want to ask, write that down too. And when you're ready, call call them back. If it's going to be a 5-minute call, like if you're phoning the doctor or something like that, remind yourself of that. This isn't going to take forever. This is going to be a 5-minute phone call. If I don't like the person I'm talking to, if anything goes wrong, I can put the phone down. People put the phone down all the time. All the time. They're too stressed, they're too tired, they can't be bothered, they don't like you, they need to go to the loo, whatever it is. People put the phone down all the time. You can put the phone down too. And yes, someone might get upset about it, but you can apologize. You know, if you are on the phone to the doctor and you start having a panic attack or whatever, put the phone down and then call them back and say, I'm so sorry. I'd had an emergency come up and I just had to put the phone down. I'm very sorry. Now, where were we? And they probably don't even remember that happened. Remind yourself it's only going to take 5 minutes or however long it's going to be, that you can handle it and that you're in control of the situation. You are the one who can determine when you put the phone down and how you deal with this situation. And you don't have to people please. That's not actually necessary. You can do it however makes you comfortable. I hope that's helpful. I hope it's a little bit empowering. If you have issues with phone calls, feel free to drop in the comments any of the strategies that you use. That would be really, really helpful. And if you have particular phone calls that you'd like to tell us about, where things have not gone quite to plan, or where your autism has come into the mix, then please do share, because we love a story. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the channel, and commenting too. It really helps the channel grow and I really appreciate it. Okay, see you next time. Bye.